On you for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Mix, and I would like to thank all of our witnesses for being with us and answering all of our questions. The unprovoked Russian invasion of Ukraine raises many important questions for this committee on the current state of war power authority for Congress. Specifically, Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty commits us to assisting any NATO member who is attacked. And although Ukraine is not a NATO member, if Russian forces attacked any neighboring NATO member country, it would trigger Article 5 and require a U.S. military response. But the War Powers Resolution enacted 24 years later states that force authorization cannot be inferred from any treaty. And use of force still requires congressional authorization. So I would like to ask Mr. Visak, I would like to ask for your legal opinion. Do you agree with the War Powers Resolution that the President requires authorization from Congress to send U.S. troops to defend NATO allies under attack?
I should note that Article 11 of the North Atlantic Treaty provides that the provisions of the treaty shall be carried out in accordance with the allies' respective constitutional processes. So, yes, our laws and our Constitution would drive the decisions of the administration, whatever administration is.
I know this question was asked before by previous colleagues too, but I'm not asking if congressional authorization is preferable. I'm just asking if it is required under law, and your legal opinion.
Well, the legal opinion is it's factually dependent because under Article 2, as I think Ms. Crass and I earlier stated, under Article 2, to invoke it without congressional authorization, you need a responding to it's in the national interest, important national interest, and then also that it does not rise to the level reasonably expected to rise to the level of war based on scope, duration, the nature, and that includes our action as well as the anticipated response. So in other words, would it be escalatory? If the assessment is it would be escalatory to war, then absolutely we would need to come to the Congress.
Well, thank you. Let's move on. I know we have little time here, but I want to ask a question to Assistant Secretary Meyer. In your experience with associated force determinations and targeting decisions, does the 2001 AUMF have real limits and boundaries? And are you able to give us a general sense of how elaborate and serious the targeting decision process is?
Congresswoman, answering not from a legal perspective, but from a policy perspective, yes, there are definitely limits to that, as the policy debates that I've been involved in over the years have always taken the legal parameters as a key component of those considerations.
Thank you. You know, regarding the technological advances, such as cruise missiles and armed drones, they allow us to project substantial force without significant risk to our soldiers, and even without them entering enemy territory. So I want to ask Ms. Crass, what are the legal implications of that technological shift?
I think that that's an excellent question, Congresswoman. I think that those advances in technology don't really alter the legal framework that we're operating under in terms of whether one needs an authorization for use of military force. We're still taking military action.
Assistant Secretary Meyer, has that relative reduction in our casualties changed the willingness of the President to use force abroad?
So I wouldn't, Congresswoman, want to speak to the President's prerogative on decisions as he makes them. I think we are very focused in all our activities to limit civilian casualties as we conduct military operations.
Honorable Wendy Sherman, do you want to add to that?
My apologies, Congresswoman, if you could repeat the question.
The question was, has that relative reduction in our casualties changed the willingness of the President to use the force abroad?
I think the decision to use force is about casualties, absolutely, but it is about many other things as well. one should only use force when that is the last resort one has to deal with a threat to our country.
Got it. Well, with that, I will yield back the balance of my time.